We don't need to wait for history to judge how he's getting on with that. And as the global media he supposedly loathes gorged on the red meat he'd toss them, Harry did precisely what any dignified member of Britain's proudest institution would never do. Fact. He toured with TV studios with lurid tidbits for clapping seals.
Can you explain how it is that the royal standard got frostnip?
We've taken quite a leap from grief and trauma to my Todger.
That doesn't make sense.
Todger, that's a very gentle word.
Is it gentle?
Todger. Sounds like a nice nickname.
Was that befitting of a member of the royal family? Can anyone seriously take Harry seriously as a counsellor of state, shouldering the burden of 1,000 years of history as Britain's representative across the world? And Harry and Meghan are not exactly turning down the gas on their flamethrowing. Their client, journalist and professional lickspittle, Omid Scobie, published a book in which he accidentally outed the King and Princess Catherine as racists. An implausible, ludicrous claim which unwittingly did more damage to the Sussex racism smear than anything else.
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
And they jetted to Jamaica to attend a movie premiere just as King Charles revealed he'd been treated in hospital for an enlarged prostate, posing for smiling photographs with a Jamaican Prime Minister who literally wants to abolish the monarchy. For Harry to now claim he's ready and willing to serve his country and his king is frankly an insult. We all know what this is really about. Netflix is reportedly planning to pull the plug on Harry and Meghan's $100 million deal.
Okay.
Their series caused a lot of media outrage, but didn't even crack the top 200 shows on the platform last year. Spotify cancelled Meghan's dreary podcast. Without their royal links, the brutal reality is that Harry and Meghan are of no interest to anybody. Fact. And that's why they're rebranding, yet again, to double down on their dubious royal status. Their previous website, Archewell, inspired by their son Archie, now automatically redirects to sussex.com. A glossy picture of the couple dominates the main page.
Are you serious?
Overlaid with a text to the office of Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The website has nothing to do with king and country or the royal family, and Harry and Meghan have no royal duties to speak of.
What?
They never put a shift in. They're brazenly exploiting the institution they simultaneously profit from trashing, and we're all being taken for the ride. The late Queen was right. They can't be half in, half out.
Stop it.
And they're out. They sold their royal souls for life as reality stars, trading every private cough and splutter for cash. The King should now return the favour and strip them of their tenuous titles.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
And end this Sussex circus for good. Well, to debate all this is my royal pack, the uncensored contributor, Paula Rowan-Adrian, the royal editor, Sarah Hewson, and from New York, the columnist Maureen Gallagher. Well, welcome to all of you. All right, let me start with you, Sarah, to set the scene here for what's really going on behind the scenes. Lots of messages seemingly being communicated to the media.
Mixed messages, I think.
Very much mixed messages.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
What do you read into it? What should we read into it?
It's really hard to read between the lines here, but there were reports over the weekend that Prince Harry has made it be known that he would be willing to make a temporary return.
What is he doing?
To the royal fold to try and relieve some of the pressure on the royal family while his father
Do we
and
believe
his sister-in-law
this, first of all?
Look, I mean,
it looked well sourced to me.
Yeah, I think it's probably very likely that he has said at some point, and
Are you serious?
perhaps in some ways we could say it's laudable. He said, look, if you're really struggling, I can come back. I will do that.
You know what I found?
But it's not going to happen.
You know what I was struggling with, using the word struggling, was his explanation that, you know, these kind of family
Stop it.
situations where someone's very sick can bring everyone back together when he, according to the other members of the family, is single-handedly responsible for all the fallout in the first place. Fact.
But it seems to me, from his tone and his language, that he is now seeking some kind of rapprochement. It's much more conciliatory language that we're hearing from Harry. No more demands for an apology from the family before any kind of
But from what I've read,
contact.
and it looked pretty well sourced again, an emphatic no thanks.
Yeah, absolutely no way back.
Particularly from Prince William.
I think that's the biggest mountain that Harry has to climb.
Are you serious?
It may well be that behind the scenes there are cordial conversations taking place with his father. And that is what he's talking about when he says, you know, this can bring families back together. And so it should. You know, his father has cancer and has always wanted Harry to come back. But there's a big difference between family relations and then Harry making an official comeback as a working member of the royal family. The terms of the Sandringham summit were absolutely clear.
All in.
Okay.
Late Queen
Or all
said
out.
you can't be half in, half out.
Okay.
You're in or out.
Let me bring in Maureen here. I mean, Maureen, I've got to say, whenever we try and find people in America to defend Harry and Meghan, it's almost impossible. Nobody wants to come on and defend them over there. What is the mood about them over there?
Well, Piers, this is, again, it seems like we talk about this all the time. Whenever I'm lucky enough to do your show, the feeling of Americans, and we have absolutely had it. And the temerity of Harry to go on an American morning breakfast program,
That doesn't make sense.
Good Morning America, and use a sort of trumped up event a year out promoting the Invictus Games to happen next year to soft pedal some sort of possible reconciliation with Prince Charles, and then to later leapfrog off of that with a story placed in the Times of London with this bombshell claim that not only did Harry want to return and was willing to help out, what an offer, but that the palace might be open to that as well. It's been really a remarkable 2 weeks
Are you serious?
in terms of just the timeline of events and the series of humiliations that Harry and Meghan have suffered, from the breakneck 24-hour trip to London to the UK to see Charles, and to get only 30 minutes to hear later from Charles's staff that they, quote, couldn't wait to get rid of him because they were afraid he would never leave, to William not seeing him nor speaking to him.
So that was a f***ing lie.
To William then saying emphatically, and Charles's office briefing emphatically, there is no way back for these two. And when you couple that with Meghan's rare quietude this week, she was seen but not heard from on GMA in America. She was barely mentioned in the Times of London, and when she was, it was at the bottom of the piece.
Are you serious?
I actually think there's quite a lot of intrigue happening right now, and it will continue to unfold in the coming weeks and days.
Yeah, and I'm afraid the cynic in me says that this is all because their life in America is
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
not going as well as they hoped. The millions have been stemmed by them being turfed off platforms like Spotify because they were effing grifters, according to one of the executives there, and produced terrible content. Well, Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, are not working royals. They've made that repeatedly and screamingly clear to anyone who wants to hear it.
Wait for it.
Podcasters, authors, influencers, jam sellers, sure. But they left us in no doubt when they left Britain and the royal family that their royal duties were done. No more flower shows on a wet Wednesday in Stoke. So
That doesn't make sense.
it came as something of a surprise to many of us this week when the formerly royal couple landed in Nigeria in Africa to embark on what looked, sounded and felt very much like a normal official royal tour. In fact, it ticked every single box on the royal tour clipboard. It was a lavish welcome ceremony, festooned in traditional decorations and attended by glad-handing local dignitaries. There were
What do you mean by that?
photo opportunities at local schools and warm handshakes with beaming children. There was a visit to the state governor house with speeches and tributes from officials. This was certainly no holiday, nor was it a private visit. It was a renegade royal operation in full swing and a booming look at what you could have won message to their ailing family in Windsor.
Look at this.
Meghan even revealed that she is Nigerian after taking a DNA test. But as she explained to audiences in her typically humble and self-effacing style, the clues were there all along.
Are you serious?
what has been echoed so much, really, in the past day by men and women alike is, oh, we weren't surprised when we found out that you were Nigerian. Oh, no. And,
Stop it.
and I say that mostly as a compliment to all of you, because what they define as a Nigerian woman is brave, resilient, courageous, powerful.
Humbling. That is the word you'd associate with her, isn't it? Well, Harry and Meghan knew exactly what they were doing, of course, and I'm sorry, I'm very cynical about it. In the build-up to their wedding, commentators heralded the boundary-breaking power of the newly biracial monarchy. That fact has been lost in the onslaught of race baiting the couple have unleashed ever since. But I know it's true because I wrote that myself on the day of the wedding. The actual royal family, meanwhile, has an increasingly fraught relationship with the former colonial nations, not helped by the brazen and discredited accusations of racism flowing from the Sussexes themselves. Prince William and Princess Catherine were pilloried for perceived missteps on a tour of Jamaica, where they shook hands with locals through a chain-link fence. The royals are met with ill-conceived demands for reparations and apologies for ancestral sins on every royal tour these days, culminating in King Charles saying this in a speech in Rwanda.
Wait for it.
It seems to me that there are lessons in this for our Commonwealth family. For while we strive together for peace, prosperity and democracy, I want to acknowledge that the roots of our contemporary association run deep into the most painful period of our history. I cannot describe the depths of my personal sorrow at the suffering of so many, as I continue to deepen my own understanding of slavery's enduring impact.
How? Hold on, bro.
Important to remember that it was Britain, of course, who began the end of slavery. Never gets mentioned in any of these debates. But they knew the context of Sussexes. If one thing we learned about Harry and Meghan's family trashing, money-grabbing strategies since they quit the UK and the royal duty, is that they don't do anything by accident. Every frame of this trip was storyboarded for maximum impact. Clearly, the lucrative deals that fund their lavish Californian lifestyle
He's serious.
might be running a little dry. Rebooting this rent-a-royal racket is a profitable way of rekindling interest in their fading brand. Some commentators are even speculating that Meghan fancies herself as a future American president.
How?
And to be fair, the campaign slogans, well, they write themselves. Make America hate again, build back bitter, or maybe just lock her up. We'll join me to discuss all this, author and historian Tessa Dunlop, Laura Paula Rowan Adrian, royal editor Sarah Houston, and from Los Angeles, the royal commentator and the host of Kinsey Schofield Unfiltered, Kinsey Schofield. Welcome to all of you. All right, Sarah, let's start with you. I mean, I watched this stuff there on a peripheral level, perfectly successful trip. I'm sure they're thrilled. The real concern is that we now have two royal families.
How? Hold on, bro.
We have the official royal family, who represent the monarchy, and we have these two now pretending that they are another official arm of the royal family. There ain't room for two, is there?
Well, what's marked about this, I've spent many a week and month covering royal tours, and this does look and feel like a royal tour. It had...
Are you serious?
All of the ingredients there. The difference being they weren't acting on the behest of the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. They were invited by the Nigerian Chief of the Defence Staff.
What do you mean by that?
I don't have a massive problem with them going out to Nigeria to work around the Invictus Games. And actually, what Harry has done around the Invictus Games needs to be lauded and praised. Credit where credit is due. But
wait for it.
What they were doing is effectively what they wanted to achieve from that infamous Sandringham summit. They wanted to be financially independent. They wanted to go and live their lives away from the royal family, but they wanted to dip in and out where they could. Fact. They said they wanted to continue to support the Crown and the Commonwealth. And you'll remember that statement that was put out at the time of Megxit, where there was that comment, slightly veiled comment, that everyone can serve. Service is universal. And I think from their perspective, that's what they're doing, continuing to serve. But yes, it did look like a royal tour, and particularly notable because we haven't had any big royal tours.
No.
My disappointment.
The reason
Like
for that...
this, because of COVID, because of the
Well,
King's health, for
also,
example.
let's remind ourselves, Tessa Dunlop, before you launch into your impassioned defence, no doubt, of how wonderful this all is, that the King of this country is currently stricken with cancer and can't perform the duties he wants to perform. And his son and heir, his wife, also has cancer and can't perform duties. So as the senior members of the royal family here are stricken by very serious illness, the very, very last thing they want is to have these two coming in from California and effectively supplanting them on these unofficial royal tours. Fact. Soaking up all the attention that should be on the actual people who put the shifts in for duty in this country, not the renegades filling their pockets. Discuss.
Small case of sour grapes on your part, I think.
Why?
Piers. Well, because
I've already said from their point of view, very successful. It's not sour grapes. There's no room for two royal families doing the same thing.
Clearly
Stop it.
it is. I mean, we're sitting here discussing it. Newspapers have been full of it. You've said yourself that one royal family's out of action, so up they step. Your issue is they're not being dutiful in the name of Great Britain.
No.
And you
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
are a fiendish patriot, as we know, and a very proud...
Hang on, no, it's because they've been given their titles by the British monarchy. They weren't given them by the Nigerian monarchy or the Californian monarchy.